Consider this scenario. A bomb threat is called into the bridge of your ship. What do? Unfortunately, we now live in a time where terror almost routinely includes the use of explosives, threatening commerce, threatening property, and threatening lives. In this program, we'll look at the threat posed by explosives and preventive measures to minimize that threat. Searching the ship effectively, confronting an explosive device, and effective planning and response.
Yeah, there's a lot of other workers on board, but they're scattered around. I can get past them.
Ships are extremely vulnerable to a saboteur using explosives. He poses a different security threat than a stowaway or hostage taker in that the saboteur is likely to try to remain anonymous and undetected. The explosive threat can be directed against a ship of a particular nationality for political reasons, against the policies or property of a particular shipping company, to sabotage or compromise a sensitive cargo, or to protest a grievance or issue.
The availability of explosives makes them extremely attractive to a terrorist organization.
Mike DeCapua has worked in the counter-terrorism business for over 2 decades, for the military, for the civilian police, and now as a consultant to the maritime industry.
There's a very short amount of time in terms of waiting period to buy dynamite, even these days, with the proper licensing. Very, very minimal background checks take place. The ANFO, ammonium nitrate, fuel oil combination that was used at the Murrah building in Oklahoma City. These are all different types of readily available explosives that terrorists could use for really any type of target.
As we've seen from the horrifying headlines, it's often extremely difficult to stop a determined terrorist, especially one who's willing to commit suicide to fulfill his or her mission. Still, there are sensible precautions ships and crews can take to help prevent an explosive attack. First, lock and seal any potentially vulnerable compartments aboard ship. Watch for any signs of tampering with these sealed-off areas. Be especially alert to the presence of any unusual objects in unexpected places. Do not touch a suspicious object or package. Report it immediately. Don't accept any packages from strangers or unknown packages via the mail. Innocent-looking receptacles, such as backpacks or coolers, may be used to conceal explosives. Maintain extra vigilance aboard ship and around the ship, especially before sailing. Make your security measures visible to deter potential wrongdoers.
Deterrence is a high-value, sometimes very low-cost means to prevent things, absolutely. The fact that a crew is on alert, that a crew is watching and are reporting, these are all very, very critical components.
It's not very likely that an officer or crew member will simply discover a suspect device in the course of a normal day's work. It's more likely that the ship will receive some kind of forewarning from a police or intelligence agency, from the bomber himself, or even from his accomplices. If a bomb threat is received, the master will have to decide, is it real or a hoax? He must consider the source. A police tip will usually include an opinion on its authenticity. Telltale details of the warning will add or detract from its credibility, and unless there is clear and compelling evidence that the threat is false, he should order a search of the ship. Searchers should work in teams, and be properly equipped with flashlights and batteries, screwdrivers, wrenches and crowbars, mirrors and probes, and gloves and hard hats.
When you enter a building or a compartment, we usually look at eye level to determine if there are any threats that are immediate to us. And then we divide the room to an upper third, the eye third, and then the bottom third. And we do scans initially of all three of those areas while at the doorway. And then we start by assigning individuals, okay, you do the high search, you have the middle search, and you have the low search, and then physically go into the room or compartment thereafter.
Searches should be organized, disciplined, and systematic, based on a search plan that's been drilled and practiced. Use checklists to guide the search, and record clean areas so that you don't search them twice. Look inside things, not just at them, behind, under, and above fixtures, for hiding places, not obvious places. Other search basics. Crew members don't search their own areas in case they're concealing something. Beware of unsafe radio equipment or transmissions which could detonate a device, and establish clear procedures on what to do if a suspicious device is found. If a suspect device is found in port, the ship should be evacuated in accordance with the security plan. If at sea, the response depends on the size and location of the device.
The first rule is leave it alone, stay off the radio, stay off the cell phone, because until a triggering mechanism can be determined, we want to eliminate any possibility of the device detonating.
Other do nots. Do not get near the device. Do not cut, pull, or touch any wires or fastenings. Do not pass metal tools over the device. Do not put it in water or spray water over it. Don't even run in the vicinity, in case vibration or motion could cause detonation. Finally, do not move the device away from people. Move people away from the device.
The next step would be to mark the area of the device with perhaps an orange cone or some tape, and then back out the way you came and make sure that that area is secured, and make sure that the local police and fire, as well as Coast Guard, is notified. And at that point, then they will come in and actually assess that situation. So the detection and assessment from the crew standpoint is extremely important, to try to describe what it is they have found, where it is, and then the safest way to get to the device for the responding forces.
The skills necessary to respond well to an explosive emergency overlap a lot of other good maritime safety practices. Improved vigilance, efficient searches, a detailed security plan, a solid integrated communications network, and of course, regular training and drills.
All right, guys, so
plan your drills and exercises to integrate safety and security with realistic, well-planned scenarios. Here's an example. A suspicious device is found in a paint locker. Officers and crew are required to isolate the device and give the proper notification. Preventing terror, vandalism, and sabotage is a team effort. The ship's security officer and his fellow officers must be part of an integrated and coordinated plan involving resources well beyond the confines of their ship or even their specific port of call. In your planning and response exercises, keep in mind all these contingencies. Are you at sea or in port? If in port, do you have specific contact information for security matters and a coordinated plan?
The key to the successful protection of a vessel and facilities in port is a coordinated plan that involves all the maritime industry agents, as well as Coast Guard and local police, fire, and health officials. It's not a one agency can do all in this day and age.
21st century maritime security is a brave new world with new boundaries, jurisdictions, and responsibilities, and a much greater emphasis on planning and integrated communication.
We had a saying in the SWAT business, plan the plan, train the plan, exercise the plan, and then fix the plan based on the exercise. So the first step is to come up with a very simple yet credible, viable plan that addresses the major threats to the vessel, and then train the crew on the various responsibilities that they would have and roles in that plan, and then go ahead and drill it and make it as realistic as possible. And I would encourage the use of local port facilities, Coast Guard, local police and fire, and that's something that we're starting to look at too now, is how to integrate that more.
In this program, we've looked at the threat posed by explosives and preventive measures to minimize that threat, searching the ship effectively, confronting the explosive device, and techniques for effective planning and response. Explosives are just one of several threats we face in an age of global terror. That hard fact has created some positive responses, however, resulting in greater vigilance, safety, and security consciousness in port and at sea.